in grand finals, there's no individual that wins the game. It's certainly got to be a team effort.
Graham, I was just looking at Neil Bristow and Shane Lovelace, and I remember playing on them many years ago at Sale. They were a couple of young lads and slim young boys in those days. I had to chase them up the ground at one stage when I was on the way out. I wouldn't like to be trying to do it today because they'd rule the ground out there under these circumstances, you would think. They'll just have so much to say.
There's Darren Slocum and Gary Kerr, the dual Rex Hartley Award winners. Sorry, continue.
Yes, it's just that those two fellows will have a big say, plus David Mason, and those three big fellows.
And Pollard, of course.
Well, Pollard, I haven't seen Pollard, and I'll have to watch him as we go along. But those three big fellows, if young Bond can carry the game to them and contest and not let them break away and take these big marks and absolutely dominate the game, well, I'm sure we're going to have a very close game because I think the Rovers are very even and there won't be much in that at all.
Peter, just having a look at the ceremonies taking place out here, you've hyped them up in the rooms, you've done all the work, and then all of a sudden this is a bit of a downtime. Is that a worry for a coach?
Yes, but I think I've always told the players I've really got to look at the ground or look at the opposition and just be gritting their teeth and just talking to themselves, talking about how well they intend to be playing for the day and how aggressive they're going to be in their approach for the ball. It can be a quiet time, but it can be a beneficial quiet time if you use it in the right way to build yourself up personally.
Okay, right. We're just watching the Magpies running to the left. We're watching the Tigers running to the right. Out there this afternoon, 257 games under his belt is Brett Stanistreet.
And what a wonderful effort that is too, Graham, and I think he's set to break the record next year, isn't he?
Yeah, 269, of course, is the record held by Brian Hammond, the great champion from Tarragona, who ran around with number 12 on his back for many years. And following very closely behind him is 235 games with Reno Fusionato, and he said to us the other night that he's going to follow Brett Stanistreet right through to 300. So we're going to see, well, I don't know whether Brett's going to, but Reno seems fairly conscious of the fact that he's going to do that.
Be interesting to see just where Brett Stanistreet plays today, Graham. They've got him picked in the back pocket. Well, I think that's a dummy. He's capable of playing on the ball or perhaps even the centre half forward. There's not many places. In fact, he hasn't played. He's represented the Valley in 2 or 3 positions.
Yes, he has. Peter Hall will keep an eye on that for us, and once they juggle them out. Right, the Morwell boys are congregating. The Sale boys are getting their Guernseys off. Just repeating Brian Hood, the Melbourne umpire, and our own local Peter Box, who played with Moe. He was a pretty good player, Boxy, in the centre down here at Moe, so this ground wouldn't be unfamiliar to him. And then, of course, he went and coached Morwell, so he knows what it's all about. And he knows this Vale Street ground particularly well.
He's in great shape too, Graham. I guess he'd be 44, Boxy, would he?
He'd have to be, I would think, yeah.
41.
41, is he?
Told me to Cole Walker last night. I think Peter's 41, he said.
OK, here's Ranger Greenwood coming into the centre. Johnny White, you can take over for the toss of the coin, which really won't be all that important today because of the still conditions.
Thanks, Graham. Peter, well done on umpiring today's game. How are the nerves?
Thanks. So I'm really keen and looking forward to today. Not too nervous now. I'm going to really enjoy the day, and I've got a great team to run with, so we'll have a good day.
How many LVFL grand finals have you umpired before?
In the reserves before, but this is a first for our
seniors.
panel. Yes.
Well done, and good luck for the rest of the day. The boys were just talking about your age before, Peter. 41, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Great effort. OK, well, we might get on with this coin toss now. If we can call the 2 captains in.
Call the boys in and toss the coin.
This is Greenwood and Allen, and we'll get this coin toss underway. As you said, Graham, very little breeze out here, so it probably won't make much difference. We'll go over now. Peter Box about to fling the dollar coin up into the air.
Good luck, please. It's tail it is.
Tail it is. Peter Allen has won the toss and will kick to the scoreboard end of the ground. Thanks, Graham.
OK, John. Well, obviously, all Morwell coaches are the same, Pete. That's where you said you would have kicked.
Yes, as I said, it's nice to come home into that big crowd on the hill.
Seeing there's no breeze out there this afternoon, you really winning the toss wouldn't sort of give you any advantage, or psychological advantage, I mean. It's only a gamble, isn't it?
I don't think so. No, it's, you know, you've got to kick to both ends for 2 quarters each, so it doesn't make a great deal of difference.
OK, John White is out there. He'll be keeping us updated on what's happening on the benches and who's sitting. Vinnie Waite's coming off, I can see. So they're not going to obviously start Vinnie there. The other little chap is unknown.
Jamie Jacobson.
That's Jamie Jacobson. He's the fellow who had a hand problem, I think, from memory.
That's right, yes. He's replaced Danny Jewell in the side. Paul O'Brien's gone to the wing.
Paul O'Brien is on the wing for the Morwell side, so he's going to get a taste of the big time out there this afternoon.
Can you pick up Metcalf as where he's playing, Peter?
Just having a look for Metcalf.
Paul Metcalf looks to be on a half-forward flank. David Ellison on the other wing for Morwell.
So he is on a half-forward flank. Now, where's Pearce lined up? Pearce is lining up probably at centre-half back, I would think. Kevin Smith certainly won't pick Andrew Pollard up, so Pearce named on a wing will in fact be starting off centre-half back. O'Brien on one wing and David Allison on the other. He's got to contend with Hogan over there, and we find that Chris Grumley is the other player on the other wing over there. Okay, it's the bounce of the ball for the 86 grand final, and Brian Hood, the Melbourne umpire, is going to take that privilege. There's the bounce of the ball. The big men fly. By gee, a nice knock by young Ashley Bond first up there, but coming through is Kevin Carolyn. He's obviously not playing on a half-forward flank. Gets it up looking for Whitford, but a nice strong mark has been pulled out of the air there. And, of course, none other than Brett Stanistreet, the most experienced player on this oval this afternoon. His kick towards centre-half forward. Bristow lurks, but he can't get there. Ronnie Hughes tried, but couldn't. Hughes is under the pack. Ooh, I thought Boxey was going to give a free kick there, but it was actually Bristow that put his own teammate to the ground. The umpire was right on the job, and on the Morwell half-forward flank, just about on centre wing, the bounce of the ball will occur. No wind assistance here. The scoreboard end is Morwell's end first up. By gee, Bond's knocking that ball a mile there. Gets it down where Dwyer pushes it. Bristow will come in. What's he going to do with it? It's over the line with Maxfield. No, the umpire says still in. By gee, that was pretty close. Down towards the centre wing, and Bond again. Buck said he'd have a big influence on this game. It's a bit early, but by gee, he's had two big knockouts and a nice mark taken on the centre wing. He's got Mason to contend with. Down it goes towards Coulthard. I'd have paid that, but the umpire doesn't. Drops to the ground, and taking it over the line is Peter Henderson, and it's under the shadows of the scoreboard, which of course this afternoon is the Morwell and Sale 10 pins scoreboard. Nil result for each side. Of course, early days, only played around about a minute or so in this grand final. The ball hits the turf, trying to take it out there. We found it. Who was that coming through? Couldn't quite pick it up there, but it's O'Brien, I think, dropped to the ground. There's one a bit high there. Round it goes. Bond again tries to take the mark, but can't do so. Dove tried to do something with it. Taken away by Stanistreet. There's a push in the back. Got to be paid, and it'll go right in front of our broadcasting position to it's probably the smallest fella on the ground in Rodney Kerr. Great little player, Kerr. He's got the opposition captain on his mark there in Ranger Greenwood. There's the kick, high in the air, big men needed. Bristow's the biggest of them all. Can't take the grab, taken away from him and dropped onto a boot by Fleming. Fleming would be fairly nervous this afternoon, I would imagine. There's Stephen Allison having a shot for goal, but it goes into the arms of Hogan, and Hogan will take the free. Gets it to Bristow. Bristow puts it out wide, finding his defence in Freeman, getting it down towards the centre of the ground. By gee, there's another big knock. Morwell certainly on the defensive. What's the umpire going to say about that? He's going to say holding the man and not dropping the ball. I can hear a few expletives coming out of the sale rooms, but it's Peter Allen, the skipper. Peter Allen now drops the ball well down. Coulthard in front of Metcalf. Metcalf, however, using his body well, pushed it towards the boundary line, and that's where it will end up. Still no result on the board, and a very nervous start here back.
Yeah, it's typical of grand finals, Graham. Nothing in at this stage. Ball
2.5 minutes gone.
Forward pocket. Throw in here. Bristow taking the knock. He doesn't get it, however, it was Bristow over the back, and he's punched it through for 1 point. First blood to Morwell.
Yes, the first blood on the Morwell and Sale 10-pin scoreboard. We find 1 point registered up there. They're coming up at the 3-minute mark just about of this, the first quarter. No advantage from wind. There's a nice long kick out looking for Mason. He'll nearly take it. He can't. Two off the boots of Coulthard from full back. Hogan going around that outer centre wing division. He'll drop it onto his right boot. Half forward flank. First time Sale have been in this position. It's been all Morwell. Oh, beautifully done over there by Greenwood. Greenwood does a long hand pass down looking for his teammate. Can't find him. Backing up well there too was Greenwood. Getting it still down towards that centre half forward division. Nice kick off the ground by Hayes back towards the centre. Young Hogan is there, however. Gets grabbed. Loses the ball. Plays on. To the ground it goes. The brothers Hogan helping each other. Out it comes here nicely to Freeman. It's Grumley. Grumley can't get away with the ball. Still they fight on. Pretty nervous tension down here, and it's going to be a bounce of the ball, surely, umpire Hood. No, it's eventually squeezing its way out of the back of the pack, but now the umpire says we'll take a bounce of the ball, and that will occur in the true centre half forward position.
They'll give them every chance, the umpires here today. Every chance to get rid of the ball. Not too many, they do their Pope trick, wave their hands above the air. There's the bounce. Bond couldn't get to it, knocked away by a Morwell player I couldn't pick up. Hogan gets his through to the ball. This full forward, Lovelace couldn't take the ball. It's on the ground. He's bowled over the Morwell fellow. Who was that, Graham? I didn't pick it up. Lovelace still with the ball. He's got it in front. By geez, a big strong fellow. But it beats him over the line now to bounce about 30 metres around from the Sale goal.
I don't know who that Morwell player was clapping there. I thought all the work was done by Lovelace. I would imagine that he shouldn't have been clapping him. Lovelace is going to do the ruck work there, but I think he might have connected with Craigsman's head, or what's the umpire said? No, it was Hayes. No, Craigsman is going to be the recipient of that free wide out there on the half-back flank. As predicted this morning, Craigsman on Lovelace.
Craigsman on Lovelace, Tony Smith to a back pocket, Pearce to centre half-back.
There's the ball out wide on the centre wing division. Players needed here to run the ball. Metcalf tried but couldn't. Gee, I thought he threw that, but the umpire let him get away with it. Right onto the arms and boots of Fleming there, down towards the half-forward line, and that's big Steve Sanders down there, who's taken the mark, this time in front of Coulthard. Coulthard, an underrated player in the Latrobe Valley Football League circles, but takes a good mark. He's a strong mark, and this afternoon he'll have to be right on his job if he's going to keep Sanders down. He was certainly a very dominant factor with, I think, 5 goals in last year's premiership win for the Morwell Tigers. He's on a very acute angle, and by gee, it's not a bad-looking kick down there. What does the umpire say? He says it's right through the centre, and there's Sanders kicking his first goal. You coached him last year, Peter Hall. What's he like as a player?
Lovely kick for goal. On his day with his confidence, he's a very strong mark. He kicked something like 19 goals in 3 finals games with seniors and reserves last year for Morwell, and can be a very effective forward. I think Morwell's going to rely on him greatly today to cap off some of the good work of the little blokes further on down the ground.
He was out of form. They had him in the 2s for a few weeks, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Interesting, Phil Todd tagging Peter Henderson too.
OK, we're waiting now for the ball back in the centre. 1-1 is the registered score for Morwell, and Sale yet to score. Maxfield will take the ball, get grabbed very quickly, but Strength got away with that. Gets it up where David Allison will trap it now for the Morwell side. Good bit of shepherding there by Brett Stanistreet, allowed David through. Down it goes where Big Bristow tried but couldn't. Morwell looking the better side at this stage as Coulthard tries to break away. Does so, but it's a motley looking kick and allows it to be sent back off the boots on that occasion of Dwyer, but it's found the defence, and Ronnie Hughes is the defender for the Sale side. He'll be looking for Dove. Can't find that player. To the ground it goes. Morwell seem to have more around the ball at the moment, with Kerr getting it to Henderson. You're in trouble, son, but he's good enough to get it back to Dwyer. Dwyer, a scrappy looking kick. It'll go wide. In comes Hogan. It bounces badly for him, but by gee, butters up well, young Hogan. Yes, he goes through. He's getting a hand pass out here to his brother. There's the ball down towards the centre of the ground. Nicely taken here by Sale. They're going to drive it towards that half-forward line with Nedelko and Greenwood, it was, I think, going through. The umpire says it's going to be a free, and it will be taken by Greenwood, I think, just about in the centre of the ground. The umpire says yes. Umpire Brian Hood. 1-1-7 for the Morwell side at the moment. Sale, they have yet to score.
Greenwood looking for Lovelace. It's over the top of his head, however. Punch to Bond's taken a mark right. But there's Bond. No,
Tony Smith.
Tony Smith. He's a big, tall fellow. 15 metres to boot. He'll keep going from here, no doubt. No, well, he's made the mistake. He's run up in the... I'll prove you wrong every time. Smith out wide, looking for Bond. Bond won't reach there. Up high was Mason. Couldn't mark the ball. Down to where Stanistreet's got a chance. Grab when not in possession, and he'll take the kick, Brett Stanistreet. A hand pass out wide. Morwell in all sorts of trouble here as it goes further wide. Allison with a chance. Allison in the back. Play on's the call. No, the free kick's going to Allison.
David Allison.
David Allison.
Important ingredient out there.
Absolutely. These small fellows of Morwell have really got a fire. Game a little bit slower than I thought it would be at this stage. A big kick, full forward. There's no one can grab the ball wide. Ronnie Hughes with a chance. He tries to crash his way through the pack. I would have played it against him, but the umpire no doubt will bounce the ball. Certainly a pack of players everywhere they go at this stage, and no doubt it'll settle down in a while. I see that Colin Metcalf and under the ball there. David Mason with a chance, bounces away from Mason. McColl gets the ball. Col McColl to full forward. Grumley in front. Grumley, well played, Grumley, as he comes at Coulthard, I beg your pardon, as he comes out of the half-back line, and there's a good mark taken for Sale by Pearce. Pearce onto the half-forward line. No one can gather it. Moore will move it away here through the agency of who, Graham? I've missed him, but McColl gets the hand pass
again.
Out wide to where Metcalf can't gather the ball. He does so now. Oof. Oh, well done, Metcalf. A hand pass out wide. One further on to Kerr. Here's a chance for Morwell. There's a goal coming up here. No, it's wide. Well, there's a let-off for Sale, Peter Hall.
Yes, Morwell seem to be dictating the play at the moment. Players like Col McColl picking up kicks behind the play, and Sale haven't looked impressive. They haven't got to pass their half-forward line much.
No, very slow start here,
and
but
actually
anyway.
Bond started off very well too, Graham.
Yes, you said he was going to be a key in this side, and by gee, he certainly has been at this particular stage. There's a nice mark taken over there by Ronnie Hughes wide on that half-back flank, delivered from Coulthard, resulting from that kick out. There's a nice long kick from Ronnie Hughes too. Gets it down towards the big fellas on the centre wing. Nobody can take it there. Drops to ground. ground, punched out nicely. Morwell trying to attack with the ball. Jamie Freeman is in there for Sale, can't do much with it. Play on is still the call, taken wide over there. This will be Stephen Allison. He's bounced it once, now he goes for the long right foot kick down towards the big ones, but Bristow is there and takes a timely mark. Yes, Sale at the moment on the defensive. Morwell doing all the attacking. Henderson coming in. A little bit of a muck up there as Bristow tried to get it out of attack. There's a replay of that great mark. Probably one of the better marks so far, even though it's early in this game. We played 9.5 minutes in the first quarter, and when the nerves settle down out there, I'm quite sure we're going to be in for a great game of football. Morwell take the knock, can't do anything with it. Fleming pulled off the ball. Towards the goals it goes, but Coulthard, by gee, you've had your work cut out, son. You can't bounce it on this turf, Mr. Coulthard, but Richard Coulthard tries to get away with it. By gee, I'd say nearly caught with the ball. Gets it out to Hughes. You'll have trouble too. He gets it wide. He's out there looking for young Damien Hogan. He gets it on the on a good bounce, breaks around his opposition in Allison and does it nicely. Whoops, something's happened behind the play over there. Don't tell me he's going to bring it back. He is, and it's going to be a free kick to Morwell. Buck, did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, Graham, but...
No, I was watching the ball playing down the field. Didn't see it.
Well, that's stupid play by a Sale player because they had it away. Hogan had got it out there to Hughes, I think it was. They were going to take it away, but now it's gone back and it's in centre. Oh, Bristow. Nearly a big grab there. Couldn't quite hold it, and the umpire will come in and bounce the ball. Bristow's certainly leaping high this afternoon.
He's a lot lighter than I've seen him in recent years. When he first came back to Sale, he was a little bit heavier when he came back from Footscray, and he's trimmed up a bit.
There's the bounce, centre half forward. Nice knock taken there by the big fellow, sending it towards the goal, but it's going to be wide. In fact, it'll be out of bounds on the full. But gee, that drifted across, which there's no wind there either. I would have thought that that was going a little straighter. Coulthard, he must be just about the biggest kick getter on the ground. He's had a couple as kicking out from full back, and he's done a bit of work. A little slow in this early stage as they defend out of there, however, and they are on the defensive. David Mason under the front of the pack, but that'll do you no good, son, because it's thumped away fairly heavily. Picked up over there by Jamie Freeman for Sale. He gets it across very nicely to Maxfield. Maxfield, yeah, no, that was Mason, I think, getting his tot, it was, off that back line. We'll get it shortly. Thanks, Millsy. Now we find Pollitt. He's going to bring it right across here. Going to look for his teammate. He finds him too in young Chris Grumley. Grumley gets it across to Nedelko. Nedelko getting it up to Carolyn. Carolyn's heard a call, and it's paid off to Dove. Back it goes there to Nedelko. He shoots for goal, but he's wide, and it's going over the line and out of bounds.
Good pressure by Morwell.
Yes, they applied good pressure there. I thought Sale perhaps did one too many handballs.
They probably did, yes.
Waiting now for the ball to come out of that last... Oh, Brett Stanistreet, you've sent that very close. It's going to be the mark or out of bounds on the full. It matters little, and Shane Dubb will be the recipient. Waiting now for Dubb. He's too far out to score with this. He'll have to centre it up for the big fellow. Where is he? They scream. There he is, but Craigsman does it well. Greenwood tried to take it away. There's Brett Stanistreet in the thick of things again. It's going to be a bounce, and it'll be right at centre half forward around about... I imagine that's the 50-metre mark there. Yes, they marked the ground out for you now, Buck, which is an advantage. So they're about 40 metres out from goal. There's the bounce. Big men fly. Pollitt gets the knock. Picked up beautifully by Nedelko. He gets it high in the air. Up it goes towards the big fellow. He can't do much with it. Craigsman there. A little bit of help needed here. Can you get through, Shane? You can. And there's the first goal for Sale. That shows sheer strength.
Yeah, he did well to break through two players, used his big hand to push them off, and a nice little goal.
It was. I thought Craigsman was very stiff there. They appear to...
That's the replay.
Yes, that's the replay there, and you see Shane Lovelace banging it through on the left foot, and I thought that Craigsman might have been just a little bit stiff there. He's had the better of... I know it's early days yet, but he's had the better of Lovelace, and I'm figuring that if he can keep him to 4 goals, perhaps 5, then they're in with a big chance.
1-2-8 to 1 straight.
Ball in the centre. Bond. Mason gets the ball. Kicks it wide. He gets a hand pass back. David Mason, a long kick. He's bombed it in, and here comes Lovelace. He'll mark this. No, well done, Craigsman, as he punches it away. And by gee, that was super stuff, because I thought Lovelace had to sit there all the way. Lovelace will do the rucking in the forward pocket, no doubt.
Always thought Craigsman was a little slow, Peter. Perhaps he had everything else.
One of the first players you always pick because he's an absolute desperate, and he's a good, strong player within his own right.
There goes Lovelace, getting the front position, palms it down very nicely. No one can gather the ball, however, and out comes Stanistreet. Well, nicely done, Brett Stanistreet. Out here onto the wing, it's punched over the back of the players. Who's this play with Grumley with a chance? Grumley can't gather the ball. It's running towards the line, will be over the line. David Mason tries to get it back in, but we're throwing right in front of our commentary position. And just a little bit going on there.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing like a grand final to start things up.
Well, that was silly play there from Paul O'Brien. I think a bit of adrenaline running there, Peter.
Yeah, a little slap in the face to let him know he's round.
Yes, and Phil Todd is the recipient of that free. It's going to be taken off the pack by Smith. Handballs it out very nicely. They'll come off this half-back flank division. Nicely passed right down towards the centre wing, and the big fellow Ashley Bond has taken it. For a young player, but certainly doing quite well early in this game. He's number 22 and 44 double. His number is on the mark. Bristow is there. Over the back it goes. Cole McColl grabbed too high. The umpire says play on.
Let him go.
He did let him go, but I think he stopped him in his tracks, so it was unfair to suggest play on. Now it's down towards that full forward division. Sanders goes. Coulthard gets his fit. No, free kick. And it's going to be a free kick to go here to Morwell. I didn't
on the
quite
shoulder,
see the infringement.
He's given it on the shoulder. I guess he thought Coulthard was on the shoulder as he came over there, and there's going to be Sanders with the kick for goal.
Somebody said it's raining out there. It must be very fine rain. But,
yes, it is raining,
it is coming
Graham.
down.
I still think that this Moe end of the ground, or the scoreboard end, as we've elected to call it, is the scoring end here at Moe, and Moore will have it. And by gee, a goal here will be very handy. Still very close, of course. Sanders, 20 metres out on a slight angle, should have no trouble banging this right through the middle, if we can believe what Peter Hall says.
I think he's done it all right. It's his second for the afternoon, so he's certainly paving the way for a good score for Morwell and a good one for himself. 3 goals have been scored so far this afternoon, 2 by Morwell and 1 by Sale, and the full forwards on both occasions, or all occasions, have kicked those goals. There's the replay right through the centre, no doubt, into the drizzly rain and the overcast conditions down here.
Interesting, Peter Hall, that he's given a free kick in front of goal. It'll be interesting to keep the stats on that, Millsy, if we can, and just see how many are given in that area.
John's just told us it's been 8-2 so far, and I guess that sort of indicates Morwell's endeavour to be in front and work hard for that ball.
It's a bounce of the ball. Bond and Mason. Mason wins again. No one can gather it, however. Bond should have picked up a free kick for in the back. The umpire's calling play on, but it won't do it forever, and it'll be a ball up the centre of the ground.
Waiting now for a ball up. We played exactly 16 minutes into this, the first quarter, and we find that Sale won straight, very accurate. Morwell have had 4 scoring shots. They're 2-2. There's the knock coming out of the centre. Nobody getting much of an advantage there, but nicely taken out by Henderson. But Dove collared the ball. Coming out here to Grumley. He can't get the run of it. Now Morwell have the chance, but Dove rebounds back again. He's having the ball held to him there by Cole Metcalf. And by gee, he must have played a lot of games too with Morwell Metcalf. He seems to be around for years.
He's played a lot in the mid-Gippsland too, Graham.
There's the bounce of the ball. Mason goes with Bond. Nullified each other there. Nicely put out where Grumley will have another whack at the ball. Underneath it is Stanistreet. It's not Stanistreet. Looks a bit like it, doesn't it? Peter Allen. Allen sends it down towards the half-forward line looking for McColl. He slips over. He's going for the wide hand pass back to Henderson. He also goes down, but slippery out there. And I think the top of the ground a little soft. Been cut up, of course, by the 3s and the 2s. Incidentally, it was the 14th premiership for the Maroons in the 2nds and Bensdale's first in the 3rds. There's the throw-in on the half-forward line. The ball dropped to the ground. Who's there? Nice long hand pass. Comes back to Dub. Is he going to take it? His own man knocked him to the ground there. Not much talking.
Beautiful
the ball is forced out. Yes, picked up here by Bristow. He'll just try and paddle it around the centre wing division. It's right into the arms of Jamie Freeman. Bit of pace there from Freeman. Not a good handball to Hughes. Whoops, bit high there, and Ronnie Hughes. Oh, he's ducked it beautifully, Hughes. He's a tough fellow, Ronnie Hughes, and the umpire talking to a few down there. High up there was Carolyn, couldn't get it away. Kevin Smith missed last year's premiership. He'd be keen to do well today, and the umpire says caught with the ball. Good tackling there on behalf of Pollard, and Pollard will take the free. He goes wide. Who's he looking for? He's not going to find him. It's Nedelko. A lot of lookalikes actually out in this. Oh, gee, you're a mile over to Nedelko. He's a mile out of bounds. The umpire's finally picked it up, and there's a Morwell player, Peter, down on the centre half forward division.
It looks like Mark Pearce.
It is Mark Pearce in the hands of the trainers. Didn't see that happen, obviously, in as the ball went through that corridor there. He's copped one, but he's back in business again. There's the big knock by Lovelace, getting it down nicely. There's a shot towards goals, off the boots on that occasion of Whitford. Couldn't quite direct it accurately, however. By gee, here's a chance for a goal coming up, and it's in the hands of Greenwood. Tries to slew it back over his head, can't do so. Whitford punches it to the ground away from Stanistreet, but taking it away very nicely is Metcalf. He's obviously on the ball. Dove goes high, can't do much with it. Yes, he's taken that mark after about 4 grabs. I don't think Johnny Mills, our statistician, would have been putting that down, but he did it well. Shane Dove, 32 possessions in the second semi. He's a vital cog. There's a great try for a mark using his weight there. Pollard sends it towards goal, off target, and for the first behind on the board for the Black and Whites. They're 1-1-7, and they're exactly half the score for the Morwell side, who are 2-2-14.
Looks like Smith is going to kick the ball out. Sale, when they get their ball, the ball moving, look very good. Smith favouring the outer side. It's a good-looking kick too. He won't find anyone in particular. We've found Sale marking the ball. Hogan. That'll be Damien Hogan. Hogan, good-looking kick. Right, gee, he can kick a ball. The boy, it's into the goal square and punch through for a behind.
By gee, that was really a good bit of work there by Carolyn, trying to get his foot high in the air to put his boot to that, but not quite. So there's Sale's second point. They're doing a bit more attacking now.
Yeah, in the back line, Tony Smith's got a decided height advantage over the ruck Rovers and Rovers that he's picking up down there, and he's picked up quite a few kicks.
There's the ball, centre half back for Morwell, taken away by Bond, gets onto his left boot, he's putting it out wide, he's going to give the running players a chance here. Oh, well done off that half back line there too by the defence. That was Todd, nicely taken there and beautifully shunted across to Grumley. You're in trouble, son, get rid of it. He does, taken by Whitford. Where are you going, my son? He's trying to get through the pack, he eventually does, gets it to Dove, open goal, will he do it? He has, and oh, it's close, 1 point. That's all it is. Shane Dove couldn't quite find the accuracy there, and that's a valuable goal miss because it was good play after Whitford broke through the pack.
It was interesting to see both Henderson and Kerr beaten for the ball soundly by two Sale players there, and I don't know whether Henderson's running that well at this stage. Kerr certainly looks all right as the ball's out wide.
Hayes kicking it out too. They're obviously rotating.
Yeah, they're running it around as Allison picks up the ball, kicks it long in the half-forward line. Up high was... here we go, we've got Kerr under the ball. No, that's not Kerr, unfortunately. I've missed it, but it's into the forward line. Up high in front of Sanders. Should have paid the mark to Sanders. Play on's the call. I guess you've got to earn them today. McCall with a chance. He's over the top. Can't pick it up. There's a scramble of players, and the umpire will surely have to bounce this ball. You can't call this football. It's absolutely one big scramble, and the umpire, if he doesn't bounce it, is crazy. Well, and I would say that's about 10 seconds too late, Graham.
Yes, and I thought that Morwell might have been very lucky and picked up a free there for pushing the back, because it was definitely there, but I think it was the umpire's fault that it even evolved. There's the bounce, about 20 metres out from the Morwell goal. Bristow gets up, but it's knocked down by Morwell. There's a shot towards goal, but it's wide, out of bounds, or through for a point. By gee, that looked wide from here, but the umpire's closer than myself, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and through for 1 point. The scoreboard, the Morwell 10 pins scoreboard, is now 2-3-15. Sale are trailing 1-3-9 at the moment.
Beautiful kick by Coulthard out to where David Mason can't pick it up. Coming away is Hogan with the ball, and these boys can really kick the ball. It's not well delivered, however. In fact, it's too good. It's over the back of both players. Pierce running out there. Pierce can't gather the ball, and it'll be over the line out of bounds. Centre wing out of side here at Moe. And it's just starting to settle down, this game, Peter Hall.
Yeah, it's an interesting contest. David Allison and Damien Hogan over there on the wing are having a great contest.
There's the throw-up. Mason gets the ball. Smith gathers it, however. He's a very good player and an underrated one, Smith, as the ball's kicked forward in the Morwell forward line. Here's some runners. A hand pass out wide to Allison. This is Stephen Allison. He's bounced it, you silly fellow, as he's still gathered it. Oh, gee, they're good players, these Allisons. He's recovered beautifully in towards where Sanders has a go at the ball. He can't pick it up. Coulthard in with a chance. Sanders out wide. And into the back is Bond. Play on is the call. And if that wasn't in the back to Ashley Bond, and I'm sure it's Bond down there.
Brian Hood is certainly making them earn their kicks, isn't he? Letting the game go.
We'll pick it up here on the monitor. However, we can't. Bounce up.
There's the bounce of the ball. Yeah,
Bristow
right in that full forward position. Oh, there was nearly a goal come up, but Coulthard's there. He'll drive the ball wide. This will be a boundary if it runs the way it appears to be running. But picking it up is Grumley. Well done, son. Nice bit of shepherding too by Greenwood. Nobody there, however, because Tony Smith's lurking there, and he's taken the easiest of marks, Tony Smith. He's also an underrated player, this fellow, quite strong. Gets it down towards the half-forward line. Bit of body work used there. Taken away from all concern. Oh, there's a nice throw from Stephen Allison. Metcalf has it. He's one of the best kicks in the side. Down it goes where Coulthard will punch it away. Nicely picked up by Kirk. And you get through, son? You can to Henderson. Henderson's grab were not in possession, but the umpire says play on. This is desperate stuff, and he will be taken over the line and out of bounds, and the ball is also in that same position. 2-3-15 to 1-3-9. We've played 22 minutes and 50 seconds of this, the first quarter.
Just struggling forward a bit more. They've certainly got plenty of the play, but just struggling a little bit. I'm inclined to think Kerr's done just a little bit too much hand passing. He's a rover and should be kicking. Metcalf with a chance. Oh, and it should be 15 metres.
Bristow very late on the scene there.
I just wonder how well he's a tough customer, Metcalf. He stood his ground, and by gee, this will be interesting. If he can get up and take a kick here, he's okay. He's okay. He's waved the trainers away. He's got 15 metres to boot, which will put him about 30 metres out and on a slight angle. He'll open. He's a right foot, and the goals will be opened up right all the way for him. A beautiful kick. Kicked 4 goals last week, Colin Metcalf, and shouldn't have any trouble putting this right through for Morwell's 3rd goal. And they have a habit of letting you down, so we better wait for it.
Oh,
yes, and just as well we did, because it's through for a point.
He's one of the best kicks in the Morwell side, Peter.
One of the best and probably one of the longest too. And I thought with that 15 yards, he should have kicked that goal.
He certainly should have. It's well, there's a couple of goals wasted. The one that Dove missed from Sale's point of view about 5 minutes or 10 minutes ago, and that one, that would be considered a waste, I imagine, on both sides.
Absolutely, Graham.
The ball from the kick out is now with Hogan. By gee, these young boys, the two Hogan boys, Brendan and Damien, have had an influence so far. Pollitt and Pearce go for the ball round there, certainly playing well out of position. It's Allen, the skipper of the side, that picks it up, gets a muddled sort of a kick in. Now it's going to be sandwiched again, and it's eventually fallen into the arms over there of, I think, who was that? Brendan Hogan. Nicely handballed wide here. The umpire's in the road, so it's going to be Nadelko. Doesn't he look like Greenwood, Nadelko? They both look the same. Dove running the pack at the back, but Craigsman or Hayes will get there. And Craigsman is the one that does it very nicely, getting it out wide, but it's Pollitt coming in with Pearce. Pollitt holding his ground a bit better there, but it's going towards the boundary, and in fact it's going to be a throw-in around about 35 to 40 metres around from the Sale goal.
Great recovery from Craigsman there. He's certainly more mobile than Lovelace.
9 points, plays 16 at this stage, with Morwell leading by those 8 points, and I would imagine that Sale would want another goal before quarter time. Kick off the ground over there, this time as we find it going towards the half-forward line. Ronnie Hughes butters up well, though, gets the right foot kick towards the half-forward line, finds his teammate there in Hogan, I think it is again. Oh, gee, they've had a lot of touches of this Ross Faulkner this afternoon. Trying to take it off the pack and doing it well is Stanistreet. That unmistakable style, getting it into Kerr in the centre, taken away from him. The umpire says he was held, and Rodney Kerr seems to be moving freely enough with that hamstring,
yes,
stretching out
right.
well.
He's getting 15 metres here too, Kerr. He's fighting for the ball. He'll just keep going.
Well,
there's still another 15 metres. That's fair enough. They've got to let him go. Another hand pass. It's on to, I haven't got him, Graham, but that's to Allison. I've got Allison as he shoots for goal, and this will be very close. Sanders has taken the mark. There's a bit of a dust up behind the game, but Sanders has got the ball. He's 2 metres out. Oh, it's still going on the outside. Well, this might sort the boys out a little bit. Thank goodness Shane Lovelace is up one end, but they've got Bristow and Mason down there, the Sale boys. Interesting.
And they've got Vinnie Wade on the interchange bench.
Yes, interesting to see how the pressure they put then on Kerr, the Sale side, and it went against them, Peter Hall, at that stage.
Yeah, a really great move set up then by Tony Smith, who's playing in the back pocket, and he ran the ball right past centre half forward. Could probably have had a shot for goal, but elected to handball over the top. But he's a good player, Tony. He was best on the ground in their 83 premiership win, and could be a force today.
Well, I know this was a mark, but it would have also been a free kick, so you could just about put this down as 2 free kicks for goal by the Morwell side, and Sale have wasted that, and that has gone through for 1 point only. Well, there's the third wasted goal, one by Fleming, one by Dove, and one by Metcalf. So you can't afford, Peter Hall, to miss those in grand finals.
No, it's particularly demoralising. You know, in a grand final, you're lucky to kick, 15 goals or something like that, and you've really got to make the most of your opportunities.
26 minutes gone in this, the first quarter. Rain slowly falling down here as it goes out where Bristow tried but couldn't. Mason was over there to give him a hand. It'll be towards the boundary line, and on the Morwell half-forward flank, we'll wait for the throw-in. Throw-in outer side of the oval. Haven't been any interchanging going on here between the two sides. I don't suppose, no injuries, and a bit early. There's Bristow getting a nice hand pass out. There's Dove getting his right boot to the ball, looking for Pollitt. Pollitt and Pearce, a good duel down there, neither having much effect on the game at this particular stage. Going out wide over there, we find young Freeman. Freeman drops it to the ground, picked up by Hogan, I think it was, and goes towards the boundary line, and it's going to be over the line and out of bounds. Wide out there on that half-forward flank, this time at the Sale end of proceedings.
He's not a bad player, young Freeman, as the ball's thrown in. Up high was Hughes, couldn't get the ball. It wasn't Hughes, in fact, Pollitt. It was Pollitt. Pollitt out wide. Hogan was caught with the ball. Now Morwell caught with the ball. Picked up by Allen. Allen plays wide. No one down there but Bristow, and Bristow takes a very safe chest mark.
Well, it didn't look too safe for me. I thought he was falling away there, but he seemed to misjudge that slightly, but he's taken it.
You assume that good players take chest marks. As Bristow breaks around the man on the mark, kicks it high to the half-forward flank, and Kevin Smith takes a very nice mark indeed. Very steady in defence, Kevin Smith. And these conditions will suit Morwell, although the ground still, the ball is still being able to be marked. As the ball gets forced forward for Sale. Here's a chance for Freeman. Can he make the ball? Whitford, I beg your pardon. Lovelace with a beautiful shepherd. That's it. Too late. It would have been a goal. By gee, that would have been a handy one for Sale as Henderson was streaming in and the siren went. And a very nice piece of shepherding work by Lovelace.
Okay, let's just take a check at the scoreboard and then we'll go to a break and we'll be back. 2-5-17 to 1-3-9. So 8 points the difference between the two sides. We'll take this break and be back at the grand final in just a moment.